And we are, oh, good morning, everyone. Today is the last day of the work week. I know a lot of people are excited for TGIF. It's actually the unofficial kickoff into July 4th week. So I'm sure everyone's pretty excited, packing up and getting their barbecues ready and all that happy jazz, which a lot of people say, well, that's 10 days away. You wouldn't believe how many people take these 2 weeks off. Anywho, good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, AKA Naughty Boss, live with two
sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 6.0. Yes, Fantabulous Friday on this June 23rd, 2023, and it's episode number 651. And we are excited. Naughty Boss 58 is now on Twitter.
Yes, I know it. It took me a little while, and I'm like, oh, I could not remember my old info. And it was connected. I mean, how many you can do that? You leave an app, and through the course of many years, your email address may change. You don't use one or the other, and that's exactly what happened. It was on my old email address, so trying to recover it was not doable. And actually, it wasn't really an old email. It was my current email, but I think it was, there was some glitch in duplicate email or because it wanted me to go back there, but for whatever reason would not send the code. So I'm like, oh, baloney. I'll use my other email address, and I'm actually using my two sisters address for that. So I'm excited about that. I haven't been on Twitter in years. It seems like it's been years, but it actually has been years. And so I did, kind of browse around a little bit. So because you are kind of, a Twitterer, Twiddledee, Tweedledum, whatever you want, whatever your Twitterers are called, what would you say is the number thing that's changed on Twitter, other than, the obvious things that we know from the past?
Excuse me. I just think that it's more user-friendly. You can find stuff easily enough. I think that there's different views, if you will. And again, I like checking all that stuff out. To me, that's what it's all about. And we have some freezing up issues here. There we go. There, we're back again. And I don't know, it's more, yes, it's entertaining, but it's very informative. You get different news, whether you want to specifically follow news. And I actually like it better than Facebook and Instagram.
So what can you do differently on it that you couldn't do before? Or is there something,
Well, something that and I'm sure you could have done this for a while, but I just realized it the other day. Excuse me, you can pin a post to the top of your profile. So whenever somebody comes to your profile, that specific pin that you want is right there. You can, of course, have, a nice little bio. I believe it's one clickable link in your bio. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's one. You can, of course, the newest feature on there is, for instance, going live, doing an audio feature. So
okay, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. So how long does that have to be? 30 seconds, or there is no duration, or?
There is no duration.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
Those are things I like to see, more videos than anything. So that's a cool feature. But yeah, so I decided, well, let's try this out.
That part's all audio. It's like Clubhouse and the Wisdom audio app.
So it's not video.
No, it's not video, it's audio.
Okay. It's audio. Okay, so that I'm not a fan of just audio. So in that case, then how is Tucker going live then, to give you an example?
Well, he posted his video. He's not going live.
So you can post a video.
Yes, you can record a video.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, it is Fantabulous Friday. We always use this day to do kind of a rewind of what we accomplished during the week. It does not matter the size of the goal or the accomplishment. It's the fact that you acknowledge and you pat yourself on the back, because there's no bigger cheerleader in your corner than yourself. A lot of times we have to talk ourselves out of negativity. We've got to talk ourselves into a better mindset. We have to talk ourselves into how to renegotiate, renavigate a certain situation and or a derailment. And that takes perseverance, that takes grit. It also takes what I call oompa, because you really have to decide the negative language has got to be omitted from your vocabulary as well as that mindset. So instead of the I can't, I won't, there's no way, how about I will, I can, and I'm going to do it. So it's the perception of how we train, because when I think of the negativity that comes into people's lives, including my own, I really associate that now and I label it as evil. Now, is it pure evil? No, but it's evil. It's evil to my well-being. It's evil that's trying to renegotiate my commitment to myself or to my values or to the goals that I set for myself that I'm determined to get to. So those are evils. And the only way to fight back that evil mindset, that evil, stuff that sinks into our brain, is with goodness, with kindness, with gratitude, and with making sure that we have that conversation with ourselves at the end of the week and really at the end of each day, to be accountable. It's okay to be accountable, but don't make your accountability evil, like making an excuse of why you couldn't do something. Just say it. I couldn't get to it because of this, but I managed to eventually get to it because I renegotiated and got here anyways. I proved myself wrong. And when you do those kinds of things, you will realize that the power of your goal setting, the power of the small little wins, always will bring you to that bigger goal. And that bigger goal will lead you to that bigger goal. And that's why when we talk about goals and wins and milestones and stepping stones, those are all good, but don't just put them in a compartment and don't recognize them, because they're a necessity piece of that bigger journey.
That is true. And, excuses, I mean, we've all said them, we all have some, maybe still do to a certain degree, of course, we're only human. But I think the thing to remember about excuses is, excuse me, is when you are ready to say, well, I couldn't get to it, like just own up. It's that when you own up to what maybe you said you were going to do or complete, like own up to it. I think people have more, or, I know that I have more respect for someone when they say, oh, something popped up and this is what's happened. Just own it, and, be kind and, realize that will also come back to you twofold. And guess what? That is part of the power of goal setting, for sure. You have to be kind to yourself and realize that shit does happen. And guess what? Shift will continue to happen, but you just have to own it and own it in a good way.
Yeah. And I think, the little things so often get overlooked. Like say we reach that pivotal point of whatever it is. And when it comes time to reflect on, because now you're setting a new goal, what did I do differently that helped me achieve what I needed to? When you sit back and kind of take it apart, you realize that there were all these little small steps that led you to that position where you were able to complete the task necessary and or to get to the next, hurdle, get over the hurdle. And I think a lot of times when people think of, what do you mean celebrate yourself? What do you mean pat yourself on the back? That's kind of conceited. Like, why would you do that? That is a fallacy. It is never conceited. It is never boastful to congratulate yourself on a good job. You're the only one in those shoes. You're not beholden to anyone else's approval. You're not beholden to anyone's criticism, and you do you. And I think a lot of people are trying to really grasp that piece of their well-being now, because too many times years ago, and I would fall into that trap. You know, are people going to make fun of what am I doing? Are they going to look differently because what I'm doing? When I decided to get into network marketing, you know, did I stumble and fall and puke the product and puke sales all over, you know, the internet? I did. Did not know the first thing about network marketing. And most people that are in net marketing will, when they really look at their journey, they'll say, "Oh my God, if you could see my post in the beginning, or you know what I was chatting about, bleh, vomit." But the point is, those are necessary pieces of the puzzle that helped us grow into the fact that even if now, if I chat about the product or if I chat about the opportunity, I'm in such a postured place now, and that didn't just come overnight. That came with experience, with me stumbling, with me learning attraction marketing. But even beyond the whole attraction marketing, because for me, that's in itself kind of another kind of a scammy way of doing it. Living my life with something that is added value to not only my health and my wellness, but it's been able to still provide me, you know, a side gig money for me to be able to do things for other people, maybe save up for a car, you know, going on that vacation, that I'm still vital in control of what I do with my time to impact other people, help other people, but also provide, you know, an income. So the myth of what others think of you, regardless whether you're doing a 9-to-5 that they approve, whether you're in network marketing, whether you've taken on a big project, maybe something to do with the community, you know, maybe something that, you know, you're passionate about. I'm also very passionate about helping children. Some of those topics have been tough topics. And, you know, at the very beginning, I was already my mindset was already changed by the whole networking aspect, to understand that I don't do what I do for anyone's approval. I do it because at the end of the day, I want to help people. Really was a stepping stone for me to really go out of my comfort zone on very hot topic items regarding children. And if I was worried, and I look back at that piece of my journey, the criticism in the news, media, newspaper outlets, I would not be able to be where I am today at all, because the necessary renegotiation and renavigating of who I was, and making sure that my mindset was on point, and that I knew that I could look myself in the mirror and say, I'm doing a good job. Ooh, I got to change that up. The whole thought of what others thought, or their perception of what they thought never even enters my mind anymore, because my persistence in helping others is far greater energy than listening to the naysayers or the people that look down upon what I might do for a living or the causes that I fight. And that is why Fantabulous Friday is so important, because we see the growth of our own journey. How to renegotiate? It's not a matter of like a rescheduling thing. That's a part of it, a small part of it. It's also the mindset that goes with the change. And that is why a necessity of any great success has to come when you know that you're giving yourself credit. You're not expecting others to give you credit, because that would be perceived as being, I guess, conceited. You don't need that. You don't need somebody else to boost you up, or to be boasting and bragging about you. You be your own bragger within yourself, and know that you can accomplish anything, and really celebrate those small wins of how you had to get there, because those are just as important as the final end game of the goal.
Oh, that's so true. And, you know, the myth of what people may think of me, bottom line, is none of my business. And I could give a rat's ass, quite frankly.
Exactly.
And I just want to back up a tad, because I was kind of, I don't know if you saw me snickering, and I was writing down some notes when you were saying own it in a good way, and something about walking in shoes. And I thought of that song, these boots are made for walking. That's just what they'll do. Shoes are made
Yep.
for walking, or however it's worded.
Yep, no boots.
Yeah, boots. Yes, you're correct. And I thought of what a certain person standing at the White House press office said this week about walking in history. And I thought that was kind of unique. I get why she said that, but I think was more unique were everybody's triggered responses. And as much as I don't really care for that person, and I think what she said was kind of kooky. I mean, technically, she owned who she was in that moment. And if people want to know, I'm referring to KJP, who made a comment to the effect that she is walking in history, and 99.9% of people took that very badly. I understand why. I get both sides. But she did own it. Whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, she owned it.
Exactly. And, and I think that's the whole piece. Like even today I was reading an article, like I said, I don't watch the news anymore. And, obviously there's been a lot of side chatter on other topics. And this particular probably story, it is getting out there more and more, but it was the end game of the Durham report and his recommendation that, basically there's got to be some major changes because as the people that are in the realm of making change has to understand that it's okay if you disagree or you're on either side of the aisle per se. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the freedom of our country. But at the end of the day, if you're going to critique, if you're going to make a complaint, or you got a concern, or you're going to criticize, you better have your tools, all your different tools in your tool chest, because facts outweigh opinion, and we've talked about that before. If you got the facts, that's one thing. If it's based on opinion, it's your opinion, and then don't get too hung up on it, because our opinions change. That's the flexibility of life. But during that particular article that I read, at the end of the day, for the most people that had the common sense to understand that there was a lot of propaganda and a narrative that was being pushed, it was a great report. I was glad I got to finally get to read a lot of it. And I guess he's made a presentation or something before Congress. I don't know if that was recent or whatever, but it was good to actually get to that point of his conclusion, which is the correct conclusion. It's the correct conclusion because he based it on facts, not opinion, not a political ideology. And that's the way we have to live our lives. The bottom line is, if you have true convictions to yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, let yourself know that you're on the right path, that you accept the struggles that come with it, but you're also going to accept and embrace and celebrate the wins that come with it. And you should, because those are the things that are the stepping stones to lead you to greater things. And there's no one better than celebrating your accomplishments than yourself. And it can be done boastfully if you choose to, because that, you have that right to do that. But at least at best, have that conversation in the mirror and let yourself know you did a good job. So we're hoping that everyone has a fantabulous Friday, don't you think?
Yes, we all, of course, hope you have a fantabulous Friday. Walk in your shoes and, take ownership of that. You may not be popular for that, but if you stand in your truth, and we're talking about truth based on facts and not on lies, because we know certain people base their truth on lies, own it. And, that's what America is all about, regardless if we agree or, excuse me, or don't agree. That's why this nation is so great, because we can each individually share our truth. And on that note, as Carol said, we hope you have an amazing, fantabulous Friday. Remember, we would love to hear from you, even if you have an opposing viewpoint, even if maybe you're shifty shift, we'd love to hear from you. And go to our website, www.twosistas.online. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter. And that's Two Sisters Real, REEL. And of course, Naughty Boss 58 is now on Twitter. Follow her as well. I followed you. You didn't follow me back, whatever.
I'm sorry. See, I like literally was on it for like 15 minutes, kind of looking real quick. And I'm like, oh, I'll ask her, what are the ins and outs on tomorrow morning. So I haven't even had time to play with it. So yes, I will follow you back. Of course
Awesome.
I will.
Awesome. And on that note, again, have a great, fantabulous Friday. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 6.0, and I'm with Two
Sisters, and this is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss. Excited for the weekend, excited for today. What have you accomplished today already? It is 8:22. Well, let me tell you, I've done a lot already, and I still have a lot more to do. But I'm also going to make time to make sure I celebrate my wins, and we hope you do. You have a great, great weekend, and we will see you on Monday for Monday Mindset. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.